All right, so this is exactly how you can build your e-commerce business to a minimum of 10K per month, honestly more than that. And it's off the back of the principles that we've used to grow my e-commerce business that I co-founded in 2013 to multiple seven figures per year. And we hit our first 10K month in about month 14. So hopefully you can do it a lot quicker than that. And we've also helped almost 200 e-commerce brands at this point scale to record revenue months, especially targeting that first 10 and 20K per month as well. So I'm going to go through the exact principles that we use so that you can obviously take them and run with them and execute them. So there's really three things that I'm going to go through in this video. And what I really want to achieve with it for you is to simplify the entire process. I see so many gurus and YouTubers and podcasters and people in Facebook groups and all over, meta ads and things claiming that they have the secret weapon, the silver bullet for you to scale your e-commerce brand. And what I tell people in my paid community, my Ecom Blueprint and Up-Level Mastermind programs where we help e-commerce brands scale, is that it's often the simplicity, the simple things scale. The complexity often fails. If you think about this concept that if you have a complicated, complex system on a small scale, even before you're doing 10K per month, imagine how complex things get when you get beyond that, when you get into the 50Ks, 100Ks, sometimes $1 million months. They just get way, way, way more complex because even the simple things, when on the small scale, when they get enhanced and multiplied, they even become, call it a little bit more complex to manage, all right? So you want to start simple and the solution is simplicity. So that's where these three principles really fit in. So the first principle is one product, all right? It might be one product category, but mostly one product. And I'll use the example of Karmic Cold Pressed Juice, the company I co-founded in 2013 with my brother. We sell cold pressed juice cleanse programs. And for, honestly, it was, I reckon, almost 2 years, we had one cleanse program. In the beginning, we only had actually 2 juices as part of that one cleanse program. We introduced a few more juices as time went on. We had a bit of a lemon juice that was in the morning. We had an almond milk that was towards the end in the night. But in terms of the product, there was actually only one thing that people could buy for, as I say, almost 2 years. Now, when I only come up with these principles in hindsight, in retrospect. At the time, it was basically out of necessity. I would even say a little bit of naivety in the sense of we didn't want to, we weren't smart enough to kind of do any more complexity than that, right? We could only handle one thing. It made sense from economies, it made sense from ordering produce, it made sense from removing choice for people when they bought so that conversion rates were higher and that people knew what they were in for. We could talk the talk. So when you've got one product, or as I say, one kind of category that's very similar, it really laser focuses you on what am I selling today, right? And honestly, this is where entrepreneurs should catch themselves out when they get bored of the thing that they're talking about or bored of the product that they've been trying to push. That's often a default that people are like, oh, I'm bored of this, or it's not selling as well. Let's go try something else. Let's try something else. Let's try shiny object syndrome. We've all been guilty of it, but when you find yourself in that position, you need to pull back to, no, this is our core. This is the product I'm selling. I need to keep hammering that product and that message, because the more that you do that, the more market resonance you're actually going to have, the more advantages you will have over the people that are selling multiple things. Because if you think about this, as I say, if we were using the example of cold pressed juice cleanse programs, if we're competing against people who are doing meals, supplements, meal replacements, exercise programs, and then they also do cold pressed juice cleanse programs, who do you think's gonna win that battle when it comes to focus, right? That company is splitting their energy, attention, marketing, customers in 5 different categories. It's confusing to the customer. So whilst we have temptation, again, as entrepreneurs to be like, I would love to serve more people. I would love to cater and be a one-stop shop. That's often the phrase that we hear, where it's a convenience thing. It's completely shooting yourself in the foot. And it rolls into the 2 other things that I'm actually going to talk about in this training. All right, so the first thing I advise people all the time when they're like, I want to do this next product, this is with my paid communities, I say, no, focus on what you've got, get that to basically at least 10K per month, but $1 million a year, and then start to look at other options when it comes to products. Now, when that time does come, and this is maybe a topic for another video, you then have some data and feedback and customers that you can actually ask and lead you to that next solution, right? If you start and you've got a range of products, or you're introducing a new product and you don't have a substantial amount of sales under your belt, then you're kind of just guessing or hypothesizing about what that next product should be. Whereas if you have sold one thing consistently well, people are loving it, they're coming back if it's that type of product, they will often give you the breadcrumbs to what you should actually sell next. What's the obvious next thing that you should sell next? Therefore, you've just already basically guaranteed that product is going to work, because people are asking for it, they're demanding it as the obvious next step after the product that you've already currently been selling, right? So there's two big advantages there. One is the focus. The second thing is it will lead you to your next product variation. Now, off the back of that, using the karmic example, we led to gut health cleanses, immunity boosting cleanses. Gut health was actually trending at that point in time. People were asking for that sort of thing, so we brought out bone broths within that cleanse program. The immunity cleanse came out during COVID because it was buzzy. Obviously, it worked in the sense of it was an effective cleanse, but people resonated with it. Okay, people were craving and wanting a product that would boost their immunity. Here it is on a silver platter. Therefore, that sold really well as well. So one product, at least one product category that you can just focus, and hammer, right? You want to be known for that specific product, or at least that category. So number one is one product. Number two is one avatar. You're serving one target audience or one target demographic. Going back to that example I mentioned about products and trying to satisfy and serve multiple people, it's gonna split you way too many ways. It's too vague. The misconception that people have is that if I appeal to everybody, I've got a way bigger target market. However, if you try and appeal to everybody, you actually appeal to nobody. There's no specificity. So what I teach people within our program is that the riches are in the niches, right? The niche, which means that if you're going very specific, if you're getting as niche as you possibly can, that's where the money is going to be made, especially in that 0 to 10K per month mark. Because chances are, if you're trying to please everybody, there's a lot of established brands that are already pleasing those people. And why would they go to you, a new startup or relatively new in the market, share versus someone who's well established and can cater for those people, all right? Whereas if you come in as a new player or a newer player in the market and you're specifically targeting this one person, speaking to this one person, this product serves your need, that's when you win. That's when you win, when you have one product for that specific person's purpose, and you can basically get right through to that person versus, as I said before, trying to target a broad breadth of people and getting nowhere because you're competing against the big players who do that stuff anyway. But the chances are those bigger guys, the ones that have been in the market for a long time, did that same thing. They started with one little thing, one little market need. And then they did actually strap things on as people requested it or demanded it, or they saw a market for it, right? So we want to get really clear on who we're targeting and speak to them day in, day out. And you would have heard this before in the sense of you create your own avatar, your own personality. John, Jane, Smith, whatever, who is this age, lives in this bracket, has this income level, does this on the weekends, does this for a job, is frustrated by this, has these wants, needs, and desires. And that's the person you speak to every single time you create a piece of copy or content, or even within your website and how you're actually promoting your products, right? So one customer avatar, speak to one person. If ever you catch yourself trying to say, oh, maybe it'd be good for the people on this side of the fence or this side of the fence within your brackets, pull yourself back and say, until I've mastered this one avatar with this one product or category, I'm not going to move on. Okay, because guess what? If you move on, the same thing is going to happen. Meaning you're going to get to a hard point and you're going to get to a lull in sales, and then suddenly you've got all this stock with all these different categories and you can't sell any of them, and you'll just move on to the next one, the next one, and the next one, and get the same results. If we don't push through that point where it gets hard, then the same thing is going to happen the next thing that we actually bring into our business. All right, just really have to understand that as your own personal behavior. You must push through the hard bits when you get up to it, not switch gears, because you'll get dropped down and then go back up to exactly where you were and you never break through that next thing. So firstly, one product or category, one avatar that we're actually serving. And I'll use the example of a client there who came into our community. He was doing about, I think, less than 2K a month, honestly. He was pretty low, pretty new into his business, but he actually had a dog breeding company that he'd been running for a while. The breed was Staffies. So his initial idea when he came to us was like, hey, I want to build this dog product business. Okay, they had a bit of an audience on Instagram because of their breeding business, and they wanted to productize or monetize their audience, which is a brilliant idea. The early conversation with Tom was, he asked the question, should I branch out to other breeds of dogs? I would love to appeal to more people. Okay, and my specific advice was relating to this, and I said, no, absolutely not. Your market, your niche is big enough for you as a business, but niche enough and specific enough to actually target these people, because the way that these dogs behave, the way that you can speak to Staffy owners versus any other dog breed is so specific versus the vagueness of going across other avatars. Staffies are a certain personality. They have certain wants and needs, right? Different from a Vizsla, from a Labrador, from Golden Retriever, all the other breeds, they're just totally different. Whilst they're dog breeds, they're just completely different. So if he tried to go across all of these breeds and just try and speak to every single one at different times, splitting his focus, even the Staffy owners would be like, I don't even know if this brand is for us, right? That's a really perfect example, because he went from less than 2K a month to 250K per month in less than 12 months. Crazy results, because he pressed on that one product, he pressed on that one avatar, and it resonated and absolutely exploded, and he's killing it right now. Okay, so that's where the riches are in the niches, as I mentioned before. All right, so that's number 2, one specific avatar. Step 3, principle 3, is one platform. All right, wherever your customers or potential customers are hanging out, getting their information, you need to master that platform. Do not spread yourself too thin. So for the example of Tom I just mentioned, his platform was Instagram. He had a great following, he had great engagement. People love to see Staffies and cute puppies and their behaviors, and he was able to monetize that audience on Instagram. So he mastered that platform. Whilst he had a couple of little underpinning marketing strategies like his emails and email flows and pre-selling products and things like that, he was running some low-cost meta ads. It was not what he mastered. He mastered the Instagram before he went to the other platforms. So like spreading ourselves too thin with our products and our avatars, mastering one platform is the way to go. You don't move on to the next shiny object because some guru said you should go and do TikTok or something along those lines, right? Or Threads or something. You master that one platform to get really good at it. 2 things here. One is that you can actually literally master it because you're obsessing over the performance, you're obsessing over researching how to get better results, you're leveraging it as much as you possibly can. And the second thing is from a tracking perspective, because if you start to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different channels or platforms, you don't know what's actually impacting in what way, right? So again, we want to master the one platform, at least get the wheels turning enough so that it's getting consistent results before we move on to the next one to see how that addition then impacts on the others. So for example, we tell our clients in the Ecom Blueprint program, if you want to start meta ads and Google ads, don't start them at the same time, because you don't know which one's going to be the impact you want. Sure, we've got tracking, but we know that tracking is not that reliable, to be really honest with you, at least not 100% reliable. So if we add the meta ads first, let that run for 30, 60 days, then add the Google to see how that was the variable that actually impacted things. So one platform is really important to go and master, and we must master it ourselves as business owners. If we're doing less than 10K per month, we should be mastering it ourselves. Do not get lazy. Do not consider yourself or box yourself into, I'm not that person, I'm not that tech person. This is our business. No one cares about our business more than we do. And so you must take that responsibility, all right? Do not outsource to somebody if you have not mastered the marketing skill or the marketing platform yourself. You have not proven that it works yourself, because you just expose yourself to poor performance, poor results. You've got no baseline of what should be expected. I was able to achieve this, therefore you should be able to achieve this with your retainer, with your ad spend, etc. It's really, really important. That goes for anything, whether it's organic or paid or emails, but you really need to understand that you have to master that one platform before anyone else can be expected to do so. It has to be a proven platform for you. But that's the third component, is one platform to focus on, right? Make sure that you have the wheels turning before you move on to the next one. You make sure you've got the wheels turning and you've been able to scale that, right? And then move on to the next one to supplement that initial platform as well. So they're the 3 principles to get to at least your first 10K, but honestly to $1 million a year. one product, one avatar, one platform. And the more that you can pull yourself back in and to refocus whenever you get some shiny object syndrome, or someone said this, or this guru said this, if you haven't done those three things, if you don't have those things up to speed, then you're gonna keep chopping and changing and move and see that next shiny object when things get more difficult or things aren't working out, right? So that's what I really just wanted to share with you today, because I've seen it dozens of times. We've worked with dozens, hundreds of brands in fact, and seen this with our own brand as well, that was established in 2013. So look, I hope that was helpful. If you wanna know more about how we help people through our Ecom Blueprint program or our Up-Level Mastermind, just click on the link below. There's some more info there. You can check that out if you desire. If you like this video, if it was helpful, give it a like, give me a subscribe, and feel free to jot down any comments you'd like to know more about e-commerce, because I'm making these videos all the time. So other than that, I really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for watching till the end, and wishing you all the best, and I'll see you in the next training video. See ya.